Welcome to another episode of the Angels Positivity and Love Show. Incredible guests the world over with amazing insights, incredible vibration, and we'll call it love, or giving service to others, or just helping others in some amazing fashion. We've had some amazing guests. We're approaching 3 years between all the different show lines, the Angels Positivity and Love Show, the APL Spotlight Series, the Mind, Body, Spirit panels, plus some solo shows. I think I've taped 67 officially. We have about 400 shows and offerings now at the channel. Be sure to check it out, like, subscribe, and so on. And we love having the really fun, connected, intuitive, and wise guests. Coming back to us today, LEANNE VENIER. She's about an hour the way a crow or an eagle flies in Texas from me, but I think southwest of Austin. She's wears a lot of hats. She's hyper intuitive, super creative. She's an engineer. Science of light therapy would be one area that she's an expert on, the REDjuvenator, a light device. She can explain that on air in just a second. But she's well versed in a lot of modalities, healing, energy modalities. She studied Eastern medicine, uh, engineer, artist, inventor, if I didn't say that before. But she's been on the show. Be sure to check out prior episodes. Those details will be in the video. And I'm just a huge fan of hers. She's shared so many incredible details in her other appearances. LEANNE, great to see you again. Welcome back.
Great seeing you, Michael. Always happy to be here. Look forward to our chat.
I love it. And we've done a lot together now, and I feel like it's been over a year or two. And I need to mention, probably when I first moved to Austin, within 5 years, I felt like I was trying to reach out to you for a tea, and it finally happened about a decade later. You've been at South by Southwest as a presenter, and that's how I first saw you. You're an international painter, and your work has been exhibited in a lot of places, and it goes for a lot of dollars. You've been very successful and jumped right into it. And that is probably an area we're going to touch upon in a little bit. You do literally, through the painting and other work, light therapy. You love working with color. You love explaining how color liberates us all. Where do you want to start today?
Well, not that you can tell by my outfit, but we are in the middle of towards the end of November, and in Texas, it's still like summertime, but we're finally starting to get some cooler weather. A lot of people are already dealing with cooler temperatures and that fall into winter weather, colder weather, when our bodies naturally start to want to hibernate, kind of go inwards and that sort of thing. And a lot of times what people often experience during the fall and winter, especially during the holiday season, there's so much hubbub and so much going on, but it's kind of opposite to where our bodies are actually wanting to hibernate and kind of be lower energy. So I want to talk about that and how to help use color to bring in you nurture the way that we are naturally tending to be in those more calming, sedating months, but also how to use them for uplifting and countering those sometimes feelings of lethargy and depression and things like that, especially when people have seasonal affective disorder, when there's like very little sunshine. And anyway, so we can talk about all that because it's a pretty important topic, especially when people have to be indoors a lot more in the winter months. And then we have all these holidays where there's so much food in abundance and people have a harder time losing weight because of it naturally, because of how our physiology slows down. So we can talk about all of that if you want.
Yay. And it makes a difference just looking at forests, at the trees, the green, the richness of the green, especially if they're not deciduous, the other one.
Oh, the
Conifer.
conifers?
Yes.
Conifers, yeah, they're not just conifers, there's a bigger but the pine trees and things like that.
Evergreen, something.
Evergreens. Evergreens, yeah. Conifers are typically evergreen. Well, don't ask me, I'm not. I have a lot of trees on my property. I have tons of huge pine trees also, which I love.
Before we start, can you give a little bit of your background one more time? I know some folks might have seen you on the other shows, but you really do have an incredible array of backgrounds, hats that you've worn at different points.
Okay, yeah, soundbite version. I used to be an engineer, used to design submarines for Lockheed. Didn't find that fulfilling. Ended up moving to Italy for several years, studying alternative healing modalities, including color, chakra system, how energy body, pranic healing, energy medicine, everything going from herbology up through the subtle energy realm, working with energy, color, light, all of that. I came back to the States. Oh, and prior to that, though, I trained as a classical pianist as a child. So I was always very left brain and right brain, left brain logical, really great at math and science, but also very good at creative arts. I used to draw as a child, never painted, but played piano and was outdoors all the time, getting into nature. But then for my professional career, I ended up choosing engineering. And once I got into that, I realized it wasn't really a good fit. But it's, we learn through the things that we don't thrive in, and we do the things that we thrive in. But all that is brought into the work that I do today, which is science-based education, pairing that with the intuitive side. But anyway, after I went to Italy, studied all these alternative healing modalities, came back to the States, went back to school for Eastern medicine, acupuncture, Zen shiatsu, and had a healing practice working with cancer patients. Then as I was feeling depleted myself for basically working and studying and helping people and not taking care of charging my own batteries, that was where I started feeling like I need something to get into flow state. Like I used to be able to with my piano playing, but I didn't have a piano at the time. They're kind of a large instrument to move around. So I started painting, and just as a creative outlet. And I started getting recognition for my paintings because I was creating them in flow state in the zone, and started getting international recognition without even trying to do anything. So the paintings became a catalyst for having these conversations about the healing power of color and light. And they started as one-on-one conversations and then grew from there with people pestering me, wanting to know more. Finally put a little bit on my website, which I thought was going to be like, okay, here it's on my website now, leave me alone. But that just like sprung it into this whole international, like global recognition for what I was teaching about, and started getting invited to major medical universities to lecture and things, conferences like South by Southwest Interactive and the MENSA conference and big medical conferences and biohacking conferences. Anyway, so that's where it all started with the paintings, where people would have this really strong response to the color in my paintings. And when I would tell them, oh, if you're really strongly drawn to that particular color, it may mean you've got this going on in your body and this going on in your life. And that was where they're like, oh my God, that's exactly what's going on in my body and my life. How do you know that? And it would be, and I would tell them, it's the colors that you're responding to, that you're craving or being repelled by. And we can use that as a diagnostic tool for understanding where we're out of balance in our energy body system, where we need more of those color frequencies, where we need to bring balance or, eliminate things or bring in more things into our life to restore balance in the energy body system, because the physical body is governed by what happens in the energy body as opposed to the other way around. So
it almost sounds like that could be a great daily practice, period, and applied equally to every single human being. If they could take 10 to 15 minutes for color to sort of balance energies out or internal systems, it might make a huge difference.
Well, yeah, and absolutely. I mean, even doing things, even being aware of the different color frequencies and how they impact our physiology, our psyche, and our energy body, and bringing those colors into your home environment, into your wardrobe, because what you would want to wear on your body is not necessarily the same colors that you want to have in your home, because you may love having splashes of red in your home, but you may not want to wear red on your body because it's a very attention-getting color. So you understanding the energy aspect of the different color frequencies and how they affect us and how they help and support our health and healing process. And then you can use color. You don't have to just have like, oh, my house is decorated in this one color, and then you're stuck with that, because your color cravings will change throughout the year, depending on what's going on in your life. So it's constantly in flux, and you may have one constant, like this is my favorite color, and that will be your favorite color for many years or even decades. That's kind of like your battery recharge color. And then it might change, it might shift, and you may feel like I don't want to have that color around anymore. So
Mm.
anyway, there's a lot of ways to easily enhance your life by being aware of the energies that are in color.
Before we keep going on color or color therapy or how we can expand via color, let's back up to the big picture in life. You've shared a lot of intuitive moments. Italy, there were a bunch, the bookstore, the apartment you asked for. You asked the universe for some
Oh
assistance
yeah.
there and you got it. And it was just such fun stories to hear. Is there anything in the last couple of years you could share? Not the lost dog either. You shared that on the last time you were on. Is there something else that might be a fun interaction with the universe? It could have been angels, it could have been a loving being, it could have been dream time, something that maybe is new for us to hear about.
Let me think. I mean, it's such a constant in my life. Every time I want something or want to manifest something or I get a download, it's kind of like, well, just our conversation right before coming on camera, you know, doing the little angel bit ahead of time, I I haven't felt the desire to work with color, like, manually work with color in a while. It's been several years. I haven't painted in quite a while. And it's the first time I really got this intense feeling like I want to start working with color again, like actually either drawing or painting or something like that. And it's kind of, so I haven't obviously integrated that because it just happened now a few minutes ago.
It's a
Not, yeah, not for like going back into being a full-time professional artist. I don't have any interest in doing that at all. That I did that for a number of years. I was called to do that. That was a very clear down though. That was one of the, I don't know if I've talked about that, but when I started painting as a creative outlet, I took a beginner painting class at Austin Community College. So that was, and that the only reason I did that, because you can go on YouTube and learn how to paint and mix it. And I learned all about color theory from books because they didn't teach any of that. They didn't teach the stuff that I really wanted to learn. But having the structure of a situation where you have to go to class twice a week and paint twice a week, that's what I needed because I'm not good, as many people, creating like a flow practice that you actually schedule into your life. So I signed up for that painting class to learn how to work with paint, because I'm like, but I'm not interested in drawing and doing still lifes and, painting models and like, because I already know how to draw. I've been drawing all my life. I just was drawing in one color, never drawing in color. So when I started with that painting class and I couldn't get into flow state well, I would start getting into flow, but then the teacher would come around and pull me out of flow by giving some not very helpful suggestion. So I started painting at home. And then when we had this one night exhibition at the end of the class, which is unheard of for a beginner painting class, we did this one night exhibition at the Austin Museum of Art. Longer story about how that even manifested, and then I got so much attention for the abstracts because I started painting at home because I couldn't get it into flow in the classroom. So I made myself start painting at home so I could have that experience and get into the zone and stay there instead of somebody coming and talking in my ear and distracting me. So that was where the one night exhibition, I showed the paintings that I was painting at home in flow state. And that was where I learned how to use color to get catapulted into flow state. So the colors that I was craving would like blast me into flow, like where I'm, channeling and downloading all this, here, do this now with the painting and do that. Where I'm a beginner painting. I don't have enough experience to even know to do those things with the brush and the paint and things, but I would get very clear messages. So after the one night exhibition, I got all this attention from the art faculty at ACC, got picked for a big multimedia exhibition through ACC, and then just so much positive, feedback. And that was where I got it was a very clear download. Now you need to become a full-time professional artist. And that obviously was the beginning of all the stuff that I'm doing now, which to me didn't make any sense because I'm like, I don't want to be a full-time professional artist. That's not going to be interesting enough to me. But the paintings were the catalyst for everything that I'm doing now, teaching about color, light, inadvertently creating the whole light therapy industry that you see now with all these red light devices that are everywhere. By validating the science behind the healing effects of color and light. So, but and the reason I think I'm telling that story is because I just got a similar download just now about, for the first time in literally 11 years, because it's really been since 2014 was really the last time I was actively painting. And then because I was doing all this teaching stuff, the teaching took over. Like I didn't even have time, but I lost the desire to go into the painting studio and paint anyway. So the last painting I created was for my mother after she passed away, and that was the last one. That was the last painting I did, but I didn't miss it at all. So this, when we get called to do the whatever, working with color or drawing or, using a coloring book, whatever it is, a lot of times people are like, oh, well, that's a waste of time. And, that doesn't, I'm going to spend time doodling, and they think it's not beneficial, but it actually is very beneficial. It has all of these, like I said, physiological, psycho-emotional, getting you into flow state. Flow state itself is extremely healing. So I think that, yeah, that's a big download moment. But again, I get so many of these. It's like an everyday experience where I get clear messages about things that I should do. I have another one, but it's kind of like getting clarity. I'm kind of doing a little bit of not restructuring of my whole offerings, and I've been feeling called to getting back into doing more of the work with color and teaching people. I teach people every day in my REDjuvenator community. So everybody that has my healing device, that's a quantum light therapy device that has quantum energy medicine combined with light therapy. So we have all these amazing healing results. I mean, for pretty much anything and everything you can think of, including stage 4 cancers and everything. So I'm teaching all the time in the context of that group, because I provide free personalized healing guidance and support in the group. And it's all about how to use the REDjuvenator and the other formulations that I've also launched that are different color frequencies to restore physical well-being, balance, psycho-emotional, physical, like actual healing for pretty much anything and everything, and how to understand the energetic aspects of foods. So not the chemical aspects, but rather the energy aspects of foods and color. And anyway, so all of that. But I often have people that are like, I want to do your color and creative flow training program, which I stopped doing also in 2016 when I launched the REDjuvenator, because just time, there's only time to do so much. So, and I wasn't feeling drawn to doing that for a while either. So, but that download came just in the last week. I got this clarity about what I need to do with structure, how to structure things in my global offerings. So
I love this. We're going to do a quick 5 little steps of some sort with either angels, a wand, I don't know what it's called, a piece of selenite. You can put your hands out and feel the selenite up to the screen. And if you want to hear it, you can hear it, or you'll get frequency in the ear, or all the above. Are you getting frequency in the ears?
yes, I am. As soon as you
You're the
said that,
third or fourth person who's in the last 5 tapings that has gotten that.
immediate.
And
Yeah.
you can hear words, but you can still get the frequencies in the background so that you can still hear the words, but don't skip the frequency.
Yeah, no, I'm getting the frequency very strong, and I'm getting some kind of, I can hear kind of a garble. No clear words yet. It's almost like whispering in the background. But the
And
frequency is
I'll
very
show
clear.
Joy's photo. Have her clean it up for you so you get more concrete. And she'll do like a transistor radio adjusting the dial. She'll adjust it and just say, got it when you got it, and enjoy it.
Mhm. Yeah.
This is good.
Mm. Interesting. Huh.
And
That's
then
like,
have both energies address all the changes that are coming for your schedule. How one painting can still have limited edition, the 1 to 100 thing or 1 to 400, and it can be a different model so that you're not working as hard, but you're working smarter and more people can benefit.
yeah, yeah. I've always been good at that.
Okay, and then one thing Selenite and Joy want to share with all of us as the audience, what are they saying for us to remember?
Stay grounded and centered. That's which is kind of the opposite of the frequency that I was getting because it wasn't a grounding and centering frequency, which is interesting because it was such, huh? Maybe the while you're feeling this elevated expansiveness to remember to still stay grounded, focused, centered, so you're channeling that energy through, and it's not just like you up here in the clouds, but you're still grounded, rooted, and able to circulate that. Um,
Well, I have a couple more figures and then a couple more steps, and then we're going to get back to topical. Here's Mac, don't call her Mackenzie, an angel who's plants, animals, nature, with a Pleiadian background originally. She's an angel today. You've met her before. Catch something private from Mac. It might just be a compliment or way to go, kiddo, on all the stuff before the show that you just did as well. Plus, weeks ago, all the downloads coming in. And then what does she have as a reminder for all of us? This show is coming out at the end of January, so Happy New Year to everybody. It's 2026 as you see this show.
yeah. Oh wow. 2026.
And what's Mac have as a reminder for everybody? You're playing psychic medium now. You've done it before. You're very good at it. What's her reminder?
Um, it's about renewal and shifting into shifting into something different. Um, not completely different, but almost like elevating, advancing. I don't know. I can see it. I can feel
Expansion.
it, but I can't. Expansion. Yeah, expansion. That's not exactly it. It's more like, here you are here, and it's like taking a little step to the side where, or upwards, because it's more like moving upwards, like,
Upgrading, elevating.
yeah, so you're not, it's like, it's, I can't articulate it. I can't think of how, so it's elevating, but not like, not changing completely, but shifting, kind of like, when your eyes are out of focus and blurry because you're like, you're daydreaming or whatever, and everything is like, it's like bringing things into focus, like sharpening focus, but it's like a slight shift. That's not even the best analogy. Anyway, if it comes to me, if I get a better way to
Greater
articulate
appreciation of what already is.
yes, that also, but being open to a new way of being and seeing.
Ooh.
Um, because you can't shift into a new phase. It's almost like a phase kind of thing. You can't shift into a new phase if you don't know that there's that possibility.
Mm.
Like if you don't see the possibility and you don't look for the opening, you can't make that shift. So like, when people are mired and they have a certain belief system
Hmm.
and they don't realize that there's some other possibility, they don't see the other possibility because they're so restricted by the way that the way they view things until somebody presents it. No, there's actually, well, kind of like how I validated the science of light therapy. People are like, at first they're like, how could light and color possibly heal? We need drugs and pharmaceuticals and chemicals to treat things in our body instead of thinking in terms of energy and frequency. Um, anyway, that's the message is be open to a shift. Yeah,
The
but
the sh the shift is coming. I know it's been in the works since 2020, 2010, according to some, and that shift, that awareness, that consciousness flow is already here. And
since 2010, is that the year
I
you
think
said?
that's when everybody was talking about 2010, 2011 being such a big deal. Um, But what I wanted to say is if you don't open the invite that came in the mail, you won't be able to go to the party. So check out the invites.
Exactly, yes. Well, and
Open,
remember to check the mail
check the
because,
mail. Here's
yeah.
Charlotte. She can say it a different way, succinctly, very easily. Have her tackle it a whole different way in plain English. And what does she say?
Hold on.
And for people at home, she's everybody's favorite school teacher from third form, third grade.
The clear message was like go out in nature, spend time in nature. Well, and
That'll,
obviously that's a vehicle for getting into that expansive state. So, but that was very, very different, like being more like grounded, connect with trees, connect with the earth, walk around, hug a tree. That was the message. Which in itself is a vehicle for getting into flow, by the way, and for
and
getting that in expansion, groundedness, with expansiveness.
and I'll put up all three photos again. You've got Joy, Charlotte, Mac, and then also you've got Minn. She's very oceany, light waves of energy and water, Mother Hawaii. You can just connect with her for the next and final exercise before we get back to a linear conversation. Uh, I'm going to show light on my fingers and then I'll go bigger and broader. Just say whatever colors come up. But if you don't mind it being the equivalent of also music around you in frequency, this will be
Mm.
interesting. Okay. One quick dad joke for everybody. What's the only flower found on the human face? Tulips.
What am I? Oh, okay, we're doing the aura thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And just see a little bit of light, but if you don't mind feeling it as much flowing through you. First, what are you seeing?
I immediately see the energy field around your fingers and between them, and now it's kind of like this taffy effect as you move them, and then it pulls. Yours kind of has a greenish yellow glow to it right now.
Okay,
Oh,
and
and I see some
ask
magenta.
for extra. You're
Oh,
getting magenta now.
yeah, especially on that side. Hmm.
And if you don't mind cupping your hands as if you're in the shower capturing water. So as if water's filling a half glass of water in your hands. So you're capturing, let the light flow into your hands from over here. I'm in the other part of Texas, an hour away. So have it jump through the screen. And as you feel the energy build in your hands, when it reaches the point, you can look down and see it. Breathe through your mouth a little. When you see it in your hands, let us know that you're seeing it in your hands. I'll stop and sit down.
Yep.
Okay, it's
I
in
feel
your
like
hands. Let it do some instruction for you. And then when you're ready, bring it into your heart for extra oomph. And I had a dog. I just let out two French doors so they can escape the room. But what did you get for the feeling? What was beyond the visual here? What happened?
very warm feeling of love. Just that again, it's just this hard to articulate. Very calming, but not like calming, sedating, calm like enveloping love, but love, I mean, to me that word often sounds very hokey. I don't know what other word to use, like just kind of like protected, hugged, secure, but expansive, not enclosed, but rather just, yeah, like a big hug, I guess.
Last exercise. If you could put one hand up, and you're not
One
doing
hand
any,
up.
yeah, but one of each, both
Oh,
hands up. Yeah.
I only
Which
have one of each. I don't
out
know
of
that.
these four, which one do you want to assign to the left hand? Which one do you want to assign to the right hand?
Charlotte left hand, um, huh, Min right hand.
Okay, so you know which is which. I'm going to just whoosh one time. Let something extra and that's big and vibrational come in, but let it be launching you into your next topic. And here it comes.
Mhm.
And you might take a moment to describe what's happening and then go ahead and wherever it took you, share it with us.
Huh. I'm going to Thanksgiving, but by the time this airs, Thanksgiving is going to be over. So, yeah, Thanksgiving for, I guess maybe that ties in with the last thing. How can we tie that into the new year? Um, Giving thanks, I guess, all every day of the year, being appreciative. That's actually a really good message to that I often teach about being appreciative and thankful for what you have, which then brings more abundance. So a lot of times people focus on the lack, the things that they don't have or that they want or they don't have yet, or that they're accumulating wealth and abundance, but they're focused on what they don't have yet instead of focusing on what you already have, health, well-being. You know, I see this a lot in people when they have health challenges, which are all opportunities for learning and growth. Especially in the REDjuvenator community, where it's like, oh my God, I'm having all these amazing healing results, you know, and I'm sleeping better and I'm feeling more energized and I feel at peace and I feel happy and I feel, you know, these are very, very typical things, but I still have this thing going on. It's like, but it's like, yeah, but you've already improved in all of these areas. So your body's going to heal at the rate that it knows the wisdom, you know, infinite wisdom that we have within ourselves to, you know, peel away these layers so that you're healing the things in the order of importance so that the deeper healing can occur, and get, you know, more and more into those layers of, you know, or artichoke, whatever analogy you want to, but sometimes they'll focus on, you know, I have all this that's improved and I still want this thing to happen. It's like, okay, well, focus more on these things that have already improved and you attract more of that healing, you know, into yourself. And and that's the same whether people are, you know, like, oh, my business is improving and I'm getting more clients, but I still am not at the level where I want to be. It's like, well, focus on appreciating where you are right now, and that you're going to be putting out that energy you're broadcasting out, and then like attracts like. So you're going to attract that frequency to, you're going to attract more people that are drawn to that frequency. So you're naturally going to grow that way. And that's again in all aspects of life, whether it's healing, building your business, growing, or whatever. You focus on what you've got, and then you get more of it and more of it and more of it. But a lot of times people are focused on the goal, the end game, instead of focusing on like being appreciative and, you know, thankful, grateful for the things that you have. And not realizing that then attracts more of that. So I don't even remember what the start of that conversation was. That was like some download.
We
I felt
did.
like more from Minn.
Oh,
Yeah,
we did good.
yeah.
She's my guardian angel, but 80,000 other people's guardian angel. And I've got to mention, I always try to mention this episode 110, August 30th, 2024, Dr. Karen Wyatt, retired physician. She has
August
her
20,
as a,
I'm sorry, what year again? What?
it was last year, 2024,
2024.
although we're in 2026 as people watch this, but
Right.
2024, August 30th, retired physician, Dr. Karen Wyatt. And she's been a guest a few times, but one of the shows she shared, I think the first one that she was on, that one, she shared when she was 8, 9, or 10, safe in bed in a safe house, tucked in. An angel, all in white, like a Hallmark angel, showed up at the foot of her bed. She woke up and she knew after that encounter, and she knew it was her when she just saw the photo right away.
Huh.
She knew she wanted to be a doctor, and she grew up and went to med school and became a doctor. Now, she mentioned love on the first day, I guess, interning when you're at the hospital for real,
Mhm.
with the crowd. They're like, "Well, why are you here?" And she said, "Love." And she learned to keep her mouth quiet about that, the way she
Yeah.
said it. And so, but over decades, doctors would realize she had a special skill. They'd send the hard luck cases to her, and she'd get them sorted. And then doctors started paying attention. And here she is, a retired physician today, and she got to meet this angel on Redondo Beach, California for 30 minutes as a human. And we had another guest a month later, Dr. Julie Minette. I'm messing up, Moret, who's part of Agape Spiritual International on the board and just beautiful person. But she recognized that angel when she was in her 20s in the 1990s in New York City doing the corporate thing, had abandoned her childhood intuitiveness. She shared this in the September show. This is the angel that came to her loft. And for the first night, it was a minute she lasted and then freaked out. Then 2 minutes, 3 minutes each night until she remembered, oh, yeah, it's easy to be intuitive, listening, feeling again, seeing, and interacting. And so Minn helped her out with that one. Okay, I'm going to put up Minn and I'm going to put up Doll Knife, Native American chief. And if you can get something extra that stays private to you, but then something for all of us and a new topic to go into, Unconditional Love Spirit Guide, Doll Knife, original name Morning Star. You might catch tobacco, sweetgrass, juniper in the air, or one of 50 other scents.
Hmm.
And what are you catching in the air?
The fragrance,
Mm-hmm.
sage and tobacco.
And what's the message for all of us? Make sure you get a big hug from both of them, though. Kiss on the cheek from one, pat on the shoulder from another.
I'm still processing my message. Hold on one sec. Yeah, there's a lot. For everyone. It's there, it's again about in nature, the thing that I'm feeling to explain. I've talked about this before, how you can go outdoors anywhere, but it's way stronger in nature. And you can let your eyes go out of focus when you look up at the sky, not directly at the sun. It's easier on a sunny day. It can be done on a cloudy day, but for learning, you can go look up at the sky on a sunny day, not focusing on the clouds or the trees or anything. Let your eyes go slightly out of focus, and you can actually see the prana, the chi, the little squiggly things in the air. And that's what to tell people to do that, because then when you're aware that we're constantly bathing in all of these healing energies, because a lot of times people are so, like I've got the stuff in my, especially these kind of things that we're so fixated on. We get so much data and information from these kind of things, and we get like, we're so focused on this microcosm around us instead of realizing there's this expansiveness and these healing energies that are surrounding us all the time. And then, the thing with the aura, that we have these energy bodies that are amazing. I mean, and the more you go out and spend time in nature, the more of that feeds your physical body and your energy body. So you emanate and you can tap into these altered states of consciousness and be getting these downloads all the time and be getting clarity and be manifesting what you want in your life. But a lot of times people are so conditioned to think all that stuff is woo-woo. It's not, but that's programming. We've intentionally been programmed to believe that that stuff is woo-woo, because when you start understanding that you have free access to all of this, life force energy and abundance all around us at all times, then you realize it's just a matter of like taking it in. It's like a gift here always, like somebody, like the mail, like you don't even know that you have a mailbox. And then you go and it's like somebody tells you you've got a mailbox, and you go and you open it, it's like full of gifts. And you're like, oh my God, I didn't even know the mailbox. I didn't even know I had a mailbox. And then you go and you start opening the mailbox every day, and there are new gifts arriving for you. Kind of like Amazon, but this wealth and abundance that you have at your fingertips. So going and actually seeing it and experiencing it and seeing it with your own eyes, that we are, so of course, way harder in cities because there's a deficiency of life force energy. It's like literally a vacuum that's sucking all the life force energy, sucking the life force energy of the humans that are in there. And so spending more time in nature and connecting with those healing energies, which are, quantum physics. That's the whole foundation of all that, everything that Tesla was doing. 0 point energy, being able to tap into that. And basically we have the ability to do that at all times. I mean, you can literally take an energy, go up to a tree, activate your palm chakras before you do that. Rub your hands together briskly for 30 seconds before, and then go to a tree and then put your hands, don't touch the tree, just put them, like right now, they're just like singing. You can feel plants, you can feel the energy around plants. It's easier to do it on still things than doing it on your pet, unless your pet will lay down and stay still, but you can do it on people. Anyway, that was all kind of all came through at the same time. Talk about that. So
I I love it. I might have a tree for you if I can just find it for 1 second. Oh, no, I went right by it. Um, let's do this. Let's have you talk about manifesting, and yet what you were just saying, as it goes for the individual human, so it goes for the whole of society too. Um, there's something to that, and I'm not going to find the tree photos, I don't think. Okay. Um, can you talk to us about manifesting, or how very little is how it appears to the brain, to logos, to rationale, to ego. And that's almost the big message, is it's so much wider and so much more unlimited and so much more open than we can fathom up here. But that's not about more thinking or grasping. It's about
right.
less doing and more being.
More being, less thinking. Yeah. So, well, you can use the thinking process to manifest. It's not like you don't have to think, but it's more that opening again. It's more being aware, like realizing that you have a mailbox, because a lot of people don't. They don't even know that there's a mailbox sitting there waiting for them full of gifts. They don't know that they have the mailbox. So realizing, one book that I often recommend to people that are kind of like stuck in the current mindset, and when I'm trying to explain certain concepts to them that just don't even enter into their paradigm, because we have been programmed to think in very concrete real world terms. People, this is a thing, this is a physical body, and it's like, no, it's just a bunch of cells that are constantly recreating. you know um the book is called Flatland. It was written in the 1800s. Have you ever heard of it? It's a short book. You can download it in PDF. It's been, it's out of like copyright for decades now. But anyway, you can find a free copy on the internet. Flatland. Who's the author? I can't remember, but there's only one book that I know of. Anyway, it's a book. It's a story. It's a fictional story. It's about characters that are in these different dimensions of reality. So there's like a single one dot dimension. There's a two-dimensional world. There's a three-dimensional world, and then beyond that. And it's this character in the book that goes and visits these different dimensions, and he goes to he's in the 2D world. So for him, it's like, going to the one-dimensional world and then seeing people don't even realize that there's this other dimension. They're just spots. They're just little pinpricks. So he's like, no, there's a whole other dimension. You don't even know. Like, we actually have length and width, and you guys just think we're just like one single point. So he's trying to like have this experience, but he's like, these people are so limited in what they're seeing. But then he gets the opportunity to go to the three-dimensional world and then see, oh my God, there's like three-dimensional shapes, and I'm from this 2D world. Anyway, and then going beyond that. So it's I can't really, it's very eye-opening. And when I recommend it to people, it's like, you are currently in one of these realms where you don't even know that there's this other plane of reality, because you're so mired in this one. Like, you don't realize that there's this whole other, and it's all around you. So, that's what I was talking about, activate your palm chakras, go outside, and you can actually see the prana. You can see it, and you're like, oh my God, did I not know that this was there? Or sometimes people see it and they're like, what is that? Are those floaters in my eyes? No, it's like you're actually seeing the life force energy, and you can see it with this current physical body. And then you can train yourself to see auras more and more, like to be able to get all kinds of actual information from somebody's aura energy field through colors and where you can see energy blockages. I did that years ago. I've taught so many people how to see auras. You know, what you were doing there, that's like a super easy way to start, where you do it against a black background, which was how I first learned many decades ago. Having a class that I was taking, everybody would one at a time, people going up and standing in front of the blackboard, and now let your eyes go out of focus, and then you can see the energy body around the people. And I remember the very first time that I saw somebody's aura, she was standing, and we were like, oh my God, we were saying, oh, we can see the glow around her. And she started laughing, the girl standing in front of the blackboard, and all of a sudden you could see her whole aura start spiking. And it was like, holy cow, like when you don't know that there's something that's been there all along, and then you see it with your own eyes and experience it. You know, I had been experiencing energy and being able to feel energy my whole life. I had just never known how to use these eyeballs to see it. Like I could feel it and see it with my third eye, but I couldn't see it with these physical eyeballs. So anyway, that was that there were a lot of experiences like that. But I think these are things that pretty much anybody can do. And talking about that shift, you know, that message that I got for it's like you know, in 2026, when people are going to be watching this, be prepared. There's a shift that's coming or is already in progress. You know, what you were talking about, the 2010 thing, but it's coming at a faster rate. I feel like we're getting to that to almost tipping point. Do you think where more and more people are getting, you know, and as you raise your vibration, your consciousness, that then spreads to everybody around you. So it's this like herd immunity kind of effect, where the more people that are going up in that vibration and consciousness level, it's spreading even faster. So it's like, you know, the singularity where we talk about, you know, we've become one with AI. We're becoming so fast, where we're before, you know, hundreds of years ago, and then, you know, in recent centuries and then recent decades, we've been going kind of like this, and then elevating. But it's now we're going so much faster. And it's an exponential increase as more people are waking up. And there's, you know, it all ties in with the stuff that people are waking up about, the reality of what's been going on in our world and how we've been controlled and all of that sort of thing. So more and more people waking up to that, the things that we've been conditioned to not believe in, you know, like, of course, it's nonsense that you have this life force energy that you can use around you. Like that's, you know, the polar opposite of Western medicine. You know, it's like, you know, that's why with the woman had the one that said you're going to be a doctor, and her whole motivation was about love, which is all about that energy and, you know, bringing healing, but not about administering, you know, toxic pharmaceuticals to keep people sick and keep them in a state of disease, which is what big pharma is all about, and Western medicine is primarily all about. So it's not about helping people heal, it's about keeping them sick enough so that they don't ever heal. And you don't, when you're in a state of disease and you're in pain and you feel unhealthy, you don't have any energy, it's very hard to connect with that core being, because you've got this, like these layers of mud, thick mud on you that are kind of obscuring your ability to tap into that inner, you know, that inner clarity, your true being, by design. And the more pharmaceuticals you take, unclean foods, you know, breathing in polluted air, even people that in their homes, you know, burning these fake fragrances that are toxic, and you're constantly taking in all that toxic stuff, it bogs down this physical body. So you're just like carrying around all these toxins. Then you feel heavy, you feel lethargic, you can't lose weight, you can't, like, it's just, you have brain fog. All of that ties into these colors of autumn, by the way, orange and yellow, which nourish the stomach energy. So all of that keeps you disconnected. keeps you disconnected. You don't have that clarity. You don't have that. You don't know what your purpose and path and a path in your lifetime is. And everybody does have path and purpose in this lifetime. And a lot of times you think that you're just supposed to be a cog in the wheel and go do your 9 to 5 job and get your paycheck and, pay all these, spend all this money, like all the work that you do, and then you give most of it away. And it's a slave system. So yeah, but it's all by conditioning. So again, in order to be able to break free of that and move beyond that and make that shift, it's not like you're becoming a different person, you're moving into a new phase. It's like there's a phase thing. I feel the way I want to explain it, but I'm still not able to give a really good metaphor. Anyway, that's I think the purpose of the conversation today.
I love all the little white light, the little balls of streaks of white light that you can see when you kind of tune out a little bit. If everyone woke up seeing auras all of a sudden, all at once, it would change humanity drastically, but it would only be a minor adjustment. You're already seeing the light on trees and people and feeling it. Your brain, though, because of the restrictions, filters it out. And so it's just peeling back the onion a little bit to see what's already in and around you. And Star Wars makes a reference to it. I think it's the mitochloridian something. I don't know. But that's the little prana movement or the light that you can see.
Well, the thing is, okay, I'm going to give you another example. Once you start seeing that stuff, and once you start practicing it, then you can't not see it. You can't, like, you can try to act, but you don't need to. It's not like distracting. It just becomes part of your reality. Kind of like when you're asking me about downloads, it's just that I get them all the time, and I get clarity. I get these messages all the time about what to do. Some are big, some are bigger than others, like big, dramatic, but they come all the time. So, and then you're never having to like rely on this left brain logical thing where I'm analyzing data and trying to figure stuff out, because I don't need to do that. I use the knowledge and experience that I have, but then I get the clear message, like, this is what you're supposed to do. And it's so often not in alignment with what my brain is thinking. Like, it's not at all like, the download about now become a full-time professional artist. I never would have chosen to do that had
and
I
that
not.
was just 2 weeks ago, and also some reinforcement before the show.
Well, that was, yeah, no, when I got the download to become the full-time professional artist, that was
the original
ago.
one, yeah.
That was, but the one that I got recently about the structure of my offerings in the world and everything that I'm teaching about, that was just in the last like week and a half, where it was this like clarity. And I'd been trying to get that clarity for, I don't know, over a year. And it just like it was because I can't go into a lot of detail, but there was something that was blocking. Something I was trying to do and it wasn't happening. And it was like, but the fact that the thing that I thought I needed to do wasn't happening forced me to make a shift myself. Like, okay, that's not manifesting. And when I've done this many times, like if you have something that you need or you want, or you think you need or you want, and it's not falling into place, and you keep thinking, you're so attached to, no, that's the thing that I need, you can't take a step back and go, wait a minute, okay, maybe that isn't what I need. Maybe I need to be open to something else. And then that's when you can make that side step. And then it's like here, there's a giant brick wall, and you're like going, I can't get through the brick wall. It's not the thing that I want, the thing that I think I'm supposed to have. It's not manifesting, and I keep struggling to make it happen. It's like banging your head against a brick wall. And then you realize, okay, maybe this isn't the path. And then you're like, okay, well, let me look around. Maybe there's another path. And then, because you don't even look, you're just like so focused on this, like a horse with blinders. Then you're like, oh, look, if I take one step over here, there's no wall in front of me. The wall's gone. And now I can just go poop. Yeah. So, and that's how a lot of people live their lives. They keep banging their head against the brick wall instead of like even looking around to realize that's not where you're supposed to go right now or ever. You need to be able to look around and see, like, take one step over here, the brick wall's gone, and now you can move forward. So that's a really powerful metaphor for so many different aspects, whether it's healing or manifesting or creating, abundance in your life or whatever it is. So when you realize you don't need the brick wall anymore, because it's there to teach you something. I mean, it's there for a reason. But then when you realize I don't need the brick wall anymore, that's when you can break free, take a step, whichever direction. I always feel like I go to the right, but take a step and move forward. And then you don't have the brick wall in front of you anymore.
Imagine what happens if everybody at the same time had the ability to just see auras instantly. It turned on. You can shut it off, but you quickly realize if you're in real estate, I love using this example. You've got to go over to Taiwan and make a business deal. You've got 20 groups of people in the same giant conference building area. And out of the 20 groups, there's beautiful rainbow light on 5. There's just good colors, white light and some other colors. And then less and less to almost no color or maybe darkness or whatever, you're probably not going to choose the darkness to no color to do the deal with. Who's happy? Who's the higher vibration, the better outcomes. And when you learn to trust it a little more, you're probably turning it on rather than keeping it shut off for decades at a time. That would be a game changer right away. And people, first thing in the morning, before you know your name, brush your teeth, coffee, tea, before English starts flowing through the brain, you leave a little post-it note on the ceiling, on the fan blade, on your poster bed to go, oh yeah, carefully rush out to your recessed lights in the kitchen, wherever. And half the time you can see beach ball sized rainbows all around the lights. Uh,
Huh.
the recessed lights, they're turned on. You can see beach ball sized lights, but the best, those are pretty. You're going to say, ooh, and you're going to even want to maybe have the coffee maker coffee and just sip and watch the fireworks show. You're going to enjoy it. But the more that brain kicks in, the more the English kicks in, the more the analytical, the thinking, the logos, the ego, the more it starts to shrink because you're killing it to death with all the thinking and you're starting to
Right.
get up here, out of here.
Yeah,
And then it goes,
exactly.
and eventually you snuffed it out. And that's every light, technically, almost every light. You can see the halo on the rainbow light. It's just, are you here? It's easier in the morning. It's easier in the middle of a shower. 1 million ways to get to here, 40 million ways not to be. Okay, let's,
Water is a big vehicle for that as well, like as you touched on, forgetting that kind of clarity. So
yep.
if you're like stuck on a problem or something, just go in the bathroom, turn on the faucet or get in the shower. I mean, any of those, but even sometimes just being around water will just like, boop, open things up.
We're going to play with light for just probably like 40 seconds or so, but I'm going to do a couple quick things. And if you don't mind, hand off your face. Just name any color that you see in the normal Bic lighter. What color do you see in the flame?
Hold on one sec, because I'm focused on the
Just,
thing behind. I'm noticing that tiger print behind you
it's
because
the
now
tiger from
I didn't
India.
notice that. Yeah, I didn't notice
It's,
it before. Hold on one sec. So
I'll switch lighters.
I went into left brain and like, oh, I didn't notice the tiger back
That's the
there.
Divine Mother's tiger, the one from India. He's action. He's on everyone's team. We're going to bring him in right away. And he's, again, on
Okay, I
everyone's
didn't notice it
team.
back there before. Until you turn on the lighter and I'm like, all I could see was the tiger.
And here he is. He's pure action. Here, a reminder from him to all of us. And if you want to put a hand out to the side, you can feel fur, his fur,
I
very soft.
literally can feel fur because one of my dogs just jumped up in my lap. Okay.
You can feel shampooed soft fur, opposite a jaguar spirit who's got more wiry short hair. And what's the tiger? Very divine tiger. What's the tiger's reminder for everyone? He's action, action, action on everyone's team.
That we're so powerful and we don't even realize.
Exactly.
We have this inner power, and again, conditioning. It's easier to control people if they don't realize how powerful they are.
Exactly. Now, I'm just going to do the Bic lighter for 2 seconds. Any color that
Really
pops up,
focus
there's
on the
no
big
wrong
letter.
answer. It's going to be gold, yellow, white, blue, anything. What color do you see?
Pink, pink. The
Okay.
pink is the strongest.
And that's the baseline. I'm just going to put my finger up in a second and it's going to be the Bic lighter. See a little light off the top? Okay, now what do you see here for just energy off the top? So my finger is the Bic lighter. What's coming off the finger?
Your face is right on the tiger. I have to not look at the tiger. I have to let my eyes go out of focus. Can you move just down a little bit so you're on the, no, just down so you're on the wall? Because I keep getting distracted by the tiger. Huh, that's emerald green. Emerald green and blue. I'm not getting the pink I'm getting, which I was earlier. I got magenta in your aura. But there's like a blue, there's like a fire, like a not cobalt, like almost like a flame blue, but I didn't see that in the
And
light.
if you'll put both hands up like this, I'm just going to push the spiral of energy your way and
Mm,
allow. Here's a couple angels to help, four archangels and Minn.
Now I'm getting purple.
Yep. And allow that light to pass through the screen to both your hands and let angels take over. I'll put up Joy as well. You got four archangels, Joy, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, Charlotte helping accentuate this extra. And let them take over now. Let them take over the experience. You can just put your hands out to the side if you want, or in your lap. Let that light kind of flood through your whole energy system, your rainbow light body, your light body. And we'll start to wrap up in a little bit, but what are a final few reminders that you're getting from them? There's four archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, silhouette of an angel, Minn, Lakota Sioux word for water, Joy, and Charlotte. What's popping out?
I keep getting water, but I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Something about water. Water. I don't know what that means. Maybe like, yeah, now I'm trying to overlay explanation, but I'm thinking like water floating, floating. Um, okay, I'm getting clear. Where you are, like if you imagine yourself floating on a body of water and you're not trying to, you're just floating. Like when people drown, it's because they don't realize that they can just float. If they just relax, they will float. Like your upper body will stay afloat. And when they start panicking, that's when they start going under the water. But we will naturally float even on like non-salted water. So it's not trying to do anything. You're already able to float naturally. And sometimes people are struggling so hard to do something instead of realizing that you just have to relax and let your natural state shine through instead of thinking that you need to control the process. And again, that like, you put a baby into the water, the baby will just like lay there and float, like it won't like, that's how when they're teaching a baby how to swim, it's like you put him in the water and he naturally can swim. If you start early enough, we forget that. And it's when people are trying to control the process instead of realizing that we already have this ability within us to float naturally and to reach these elevated states of consciousness and all of that. So really it's about remembering and about relaxing and stopping. There's a lot of that today about, get into our natural state of being instead of trying to control everything with that left brain logic.
And for the next quick one, just have these six, seven angels, I can't do my math, have them jack the following experience, enhance, increase, influence greatly, and spike it in such a fun way that you're like, oh my God. I'll be your guinea pig. And for seeing my aura, I always say just look at my nose, but the more people want extra, they can go up to the forehead and just let go. So at home, you can do it. I'll go back on an old bodyboarding trip in the water. But if you don't mind letting angels enhance your vision, seeing with all of you through your heart, you're already really good at this. What aura are you starting to see on me? But can you have angels really start doing some fireworks in my aura?
They're
And what are you seeing if you don't mind using words?
glowing, glowing. It's almost like there's a light coming out of your face. Like your whole face lit up. And especially, right, the forehead, you're literally glowing. Yeah, but your forehead all the way from here, from your cheeks upwards. I'm not like here, it's yes, glowing a little, but it's like there's something here. It's almost like this glowing ball. Do you feel that?
Uh, I'm just enjoying some light here.
Okay.
You can have Charlotte put an
I mean,
extra.
I'm sure it was already there. I'm just seeing it. See, now it's like now it's gone. It's
Yeah, you can have Charlotte throw in a little
it's
extra.
amazing because you just went back to normal face now. Like just I closed my eyes and it went away. Huh? What?
Have
Sorry.
Charlotte throw in a couple extra lines for us.
Lines? What do
Uh,
you mean?
Observations,
Oh,
insights.
okay. Yeah. There's something I feel like some of the messaging today was for you specifically.
Hmm.
Yeah.
How can we trust more, worry less, and not get caught up in any of the big pictures we see going on internationally, domestically? How the drama rama, I'll do it this way, the old India expression that's not really an India expression at all. No drama, just Rama. It's one of my favorite expressions. So, how can we relax more and trust more and worry less? We'll start to close it out here.
Well, tying in with what we talked about before, going out in nature is probably, and going out in nature, leave your cell phone behind, or if you have to bring it with you, bring it, have it in your backpack or whatever, but make it turned off. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my hair out of my face, but have it turned off. Don't go with somebody else because you're going to start having a conversation that's going to pull you into right brain. I mean left brain. And yeah, focus on breathing while you're out there and breathing in that prana, the chi, whatever word you want to, life force energy, it's all the same thing. Um, and focusing on feeling that connection because it's really easy once you put your awareness there, it's really easy to tune in with that. But you have to get the mental chatter, you have to get all this stuff, you have to, no conversation, no music playing, nothing, just connecting with nature. um no other people around. I'm just telling you the easiest way to learn where you have fewer distractions at all. And then the act of walking is very connecting. And if you can walk with bare feet, that's even better, but you don't have to walk with bare feet. But and it doesn't have to be moving quickly, just moving, walking, the movement and the action of walking in nature and focusing on breathing. There's this breath that's actually very calming and centering. It's the 4-2-6 breath, where you breathe in for a count of 4 through the nose, hold 2 counts, and then exhale through the mouth for a count of 6 and no pause in between. Different from box breathing, which is good for clarity and focus and getting heightened awareness kind of thing. But for calming, centering, grounding, 4-2-6, breathe in for a count of 4 through the nose, hold just for 2 counts, and then exhaling for a count of 6. Do that while you're out in nature. Focus on tuning into any areas of tension that you might have in your body, and then sending that air, that chi, that prana that you're taking in to those areas where there's tension. And then just, it's like a super simple thing that everybody can do. And having that awareness, and the more you do it, the more automatic it becomes. So you're doing it all the time. So, like when some people get stressed out, the first thing they tend to do is not breathe. They go, they're not breathing and they're like stressed and they're so tight around here and they're not taking in any breath. Just making yourself breathe in that way can alleviate the stress like in, 2 to 3 minutes. So again, I forgot where we started with that, but that's all
It's
tying into the message.
it's good.
There's
And
a lot.
I
Mhm.
have two more figures for you. A figure who's a saint from India, Sri Shirdi Sai Baba, the one from 100 years ago, a colorized photo. You can feel a little bit of India coming in the highest level. You can let him move in the photo, catch an Indian incense, and just catch a beautiful personal message. And here, if I have permission, I'm going to put joy up as well. Here, if I have permission to do a relatively new thing for me, I'm just going to 2 fingers touch you on the forehead. You'll get all of their light coming in. But here, a hearty yes, if I've got permission.
Mhm.
Did I get a
Yeah.
yes? Okay. So I'm going to just throw some finger paint around, not literally. First, I'm going to just rub in a circle and then finger paint. Okay. And I'll whoosh one time first just to set the table.
I spot in street here.
But with your permission, I'm going to touch you on the forehead. And if you don't mind having your eyes open till you see the fingers come towards the screen, and then just feel it and close your eyes and let me touch you on the forehead with the energy. But it's really Shirdi Sai Baba and angels. And say, got it when you got it.
Got it.
Okay. And just let that ripple and let the ripple build do a final reminder for us all.
The reminder, which for me again is the word is like, it's just like I wish there was a different word because it for me it's love. But the I think it's my programming, that word is often, you know, connected with hokey and woo woo and stuff like that. But it's like, but that's the only word that I know that encapsulates that feeling. And it's not just love outwards, it's love inwards, love ourselves. Because that's really where a lot of imbalance, illness, dis-ease comes from, because we're not loving ourselves. We're so distracted with this outer world and you know, by design. And so remembering to love ourselves and have that always with us, and have that reminder. And outward manifestation, kindness, being kind. And oh, one other thing, when we get mired in stress or anger or any of these emotions that prevent us from tuning inwards, and we're broadcasting that, we're actually attracting, because we don't ever talk about the negative entities, but I've been sharing about that a lot lately, about, you know, they feed off of that anger, they feed off of your stress, they feed off of fear. That's like their favorite, fear and anger. And they come to you, and then they latch onto you. You're like their little Energizer bunny. You're like that's their battery pack, feeding off of your anger, frustration, and they're depleting your life force energy. So literally, when you get angry or stressed out, how you physically feel exhausted after that, like if you get into an argument or a fight with somebody, you can be like full of energy and then you're like exhausted. Those energies are what feed negative entities, dark entities, and you attract them. So I started telling people recently about, like, remember, anytime you're feeling angry or frustrated or whatever, for me the mantra is don't feed the demons. Because it's not like, normally I think in terms of like you want a positive affirmation, but in this case the don't do something actually works better. It stops that negative mind loop and the anger, frustration, by saying don't feed the demons, as opposed to, like, you know, emanate love and all of that. Because sometimes when you're in that frustrated state or angry or whatever you might be feeling, you know, like where you're literally blocking your own flow of energy, and when you have that awareness that you're attracting these negative entities to you by emanating those, you know, toxic emotions, not that anger is always, sometimes anger is justified, but most of the time it's like when we're getting in an anger loop or frustration loop, that's not healthy. So thinking in terms of like, I don't want to be attracting these negative entities to me. So that can be very powerful for stopping that, because you're like, okay, if you think exactly what you're doing isn't benefiting you and it's not harming anybody, it's only harming you, and you have the awareness that me being angry at somebody else or some situation is only harming me, and it's not just harming me physiologically and psychologically, it's actually harming me because I'm attracting these negative entities to me that then want to keep me in that angered state and make me feel like, oh, I need to watch the news and get even more angry, because that's all designed to keep you in a state of fear and anger. So, you know, getting consciously eliminating those things that you know are going to frustrate you and make you angry, or, you know, getting onto social media platforms where they love getting you all riled up. And then you read these toxic feeds and everybody's like, you know, screaming and yelling at each other through their keyboard. Don't consume that. And until you have a strong enough energy body where you can go and it just like water, flowing off a duck, it's like it doesn't bother me, it doesn't faze me. But then, like don't get caught up in that. So it's kind of like closing the door to things. And when you are giving off that negative energy yourself through getting riled up by design, by watching, mainstream media and like, tapping into these toxic, conversation threads, realize that you're harming yourself, you're only harming yourself, and you are literally attracting these negative energies to you that want to feed off of those toxins that are toxic to you, but they're food to them. So
You can also ask angels just to flood you with light, love, compassion, universal consciousness, whatever you want to call it, thousands of words for it. And picture it as a bucket with a couple leaves in it. You just don't mind wasting a little extra water, but there's no waste. It's extra light coming in and the leaves pop right out of the bucket. Or if it's cornflakes, you're done eating the bowl of cereal, but there's a couple extra pieces of food and you turn on the sink and let the water shoot those cornflakes into the sink. That's all it is. There are extreme exceptions, but here's some sage, which I'm going to do at the very end, latest we've ever done it. I'm going to light sage. We did it before the show. And you can catch sage. You may already start tasting it or smelling it. You might get tobacco, sage, sweetgrass, S for the whole kit and caboodle, well beyond what the sage, juniper ridge sage. It's on my website. I think it's still in all the Whole Foods, California company. But let us know when you get the sage. And then
yeah,
allow for flowers to come in, violas, violets, lavender,
funny
wisteria
that's what I got before you even said that.
with the violas.
Mhm.
I've never said that word out loud ever. And it's the first thing
Huh.
that popped into my mouth. I mean, I didn't even know
Oh,
how to
then you picked it up for me. Okay.
yeah. So that's funny.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, I'm going with it. So brilliant, Leanne. Great having you on the show. As always,
Great being here. Thanks so much.
incredible. Thank you so much.
It's a good conversation. So happy New Year again to everybody because this is going to air in January.
End of January. So happy New Year to everybody. And
Dawn is my blue-eyed, brown-eyed dog.
aw,
I've got 9 dogs, so here's Jupiter. Okay.
Leanne, great having you on the show. Speak soon. Thank you very much.
Okay. Bye, Michael.